Hello, and welcome to Heart of Calm. If you're looking for a gentle space where you can simply be yourself, I believe this video is meant for you. There are things we carry for far too long. Responsibilities, expectations, roles we've played for decades. And sometimes, we hold on to them not because they still serve us, but because we've simply forgotten how to let them go. We carry for our families, for our children, for work, for peace, until one day, we realize we're tired in ways we haven't even named. And then comes the moment, not of weakness, but of clarity, when we finally see that letting go is not giving up. It's allowing ourselves to live a little lighter. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you're finally caring for yourself, too. This video is a quiet invitation to explore the art of letting go and the soft kind of peace you may find when you begin to choose a simpler way of being. If your heart has been feeling heavy lately, I invite you to pause with me, just for a few minutes. And maybe, just maybe, you'll feel something inside begin to soften. Less than, speak greater than. Sometimes we're taught that holding on is strength, and letting go is surrender. But the truth is, to let go of something you once cherished takes deep courage and a heart that has grown. Holding on to what's familiar is always easier. Even when it weighs us down, we often keep it out of fear, habit, or simply not knowing what life would look like without it. But there comes a moment when you no longer want to hold on, not because you're weaker, but because you've grown strong enough to say, I don't need to carry everything to keep going. You don't have to keep holding on, just because you've done so for a long time. A role that once defined you, a belief that once guided you, a responsibility that once felt like everything. Even these may need to be laid down. Not because you've failed, but because you've started to see clearly that what was right once may no longer be right for you now. Letting go, then, isn't a step back. It's a quiet turning point. From living to meet expectations, to living in response to what you truly feel. Not everything that makes us tired shows up clearly. Some weights are quiet, but still heavy, because we've carried them for so long. Without realizing it might be time to set them down. You might still be taking care of the house out of habit, even though your children are grown, and no one expects it anymore. Trying to be the good mother, devoted wife, or dutiful daughter, even when no one is asking you to play those roles the same way. Holding on to an old image of yourself when you had more energy, looked better, performed perfectly, never showing fatigue, or waiting for someone else to change. Even though, deep down, you know that's no longer something you can, or should, control. We don't hold on because these things still serve us. We hold on because we're used to holding on. Because letting go means facing ourselves. And that can be scary. But try asking gently, what if I released this just a little? Would I breathe more easily? If I didn't have to hold it all together, would I feel more like myself? Not everything we're holding is bad. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to ask, do I still need this? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means healing. There are things you may never truly forget. A difficult chapter. A person you once loved deeply. A turning point that shaped who you are today. And that's okay. No one is asking you to erase it all. Letting go isn't about wiping the slate clean. It's about no longer letting that memory control your present. It can still exist, but it no longer steers the direction of your life. Sometimes, we hold onto a painful memory the way we hold a medal. We keep it close as proof. I survived this. I endured that. I'm strong because of it. But over time, that medal becomes heavy. It weighs down your spirit. It makes you feel like safety only exists in looking back, instead of moving forward. Letting go is when you still remember, but it no longer stings. When you can tell the story, not to be pitied, but as a way of gently closing that chapter with gratitude. It's when you realize, some things were important, but now, what's most important is you. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack. For so long, you forget how much it actually weighs, because you're used to it. But used to it doesn't mean it's light. And one day, when you set it down, even just for a moment, you finally notice, oh, I can walk without aching. You're not forgetting. You're simply choosing not to let what's behind you block the road ahead. Letting go isn't closure. It's an opening. A quiet doorway to healing. From the inside out. Why letting go brings true peace. Life is already noisy enough. The things we hold on to may not make a sound, but they take up so much space in the heart. There are nights when you lie in bed and can't fall asleep. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because you're carrying too much and haven't let anything go. There are mornings when you wake up already tired, not from doing too much, but from waking up with yesterday's weight, or the week before, or the long, silent burdens you've carried for years. Letting go doesn't solve everything, but it gives you room to breathe. When you no longer have to pretend, when you stop playing a role, when you realize you don't have to earn love by holding it all together, something softens inside you. Your mind calms. Your shoulders drop. And in that quiet, peace begins to return. Peace doesn't come when everything is finished. It comes when you allow yourself to stop holding everything at once. Peace sounds like, I don't need to carry this anymore. This doesn't belong to me now. I can leave this behind and still be whole. Letting go isn't losing. It's reclaiming your space, your time, and most of all, yourself. No one can truly teach you how to let go. Because only you know what you're still holding. And how softly or heavily it lives inside you. But there is a gentle way to begin. Ask yourself a few honest questions. And move slowly enough to hear the answers that come from within. Not to find the right answer, but to open a small door inside your heart, where your hand can begin to loosen, and where the things you no longer need might start to fall away without force. The first question: do I still need this for the part of the journey ahead? If I set it down, what would I truly lose? And is that something I still need to hold? The second question: am I holding this because it still has meaning? Or just because it's familiar? Like an old shirt, worn down, no longer fitting, but still hanging in the closet, because it once felt like home. The third question: if I let go of just one small thing today, what part of me would feel lighter first? A belief? A need to appear strong? Something I've clung to for so long, even though I know it's no longer mine to carry? The fourth question: what am I afraid might happen if I finally let this go? Maybe it's not about love or usefulness anymore. Maybe I'm just afraid. Afraid to lose control. Afraid to lose who I used to be. But what if letting go doesn't take something away from me? What if it gives something back? The fifth question: what part of me is quietly asking to be free? Maybe the tired part. The part that's always holding things together. The part that's gone quiet for too long, but is still whispering, I want to live more lightly. You don't need to answer everything today. You don't need to let go all at once. Just choose one question. Let it echo inside you, gently. And then sit with it. Stay soft. And listen to what your heart is finally ready to breathe out. And if one day you truly set down the pressures that have been living inside your mind, what would remain? There would be no more noise keeping you up at night. No more looping questions like, have I done enough? Am I letting someone down? How much more do I have to hold on? There would be no more need to constantly be someone. No more forcing yourself to stay strong. No more holding on to an image that, deep down, you know no longer feels true. And then, in the quiet space left behind by whatever you've finally set down, something new will begin to appear. Not noise. Not applause for being good at letting go. But a different kind of peace. You'll start to hear your own voice more clearly. You'll realize you can live without holding everything. You'll feel lighter. Not because the world has changed, but because you've stopped gripping what was never yours to carry forever. When you let go, what remains is you. A you that is softer, more honest, and closer to the truth inside yourself than ever before. Letting go isn't rejecting life. It's accepting it with a heart that's a little less tangled, so you can finally live it fully as your truest self. If you've made it this far, then maybe there's something inside you, too, that wants to be set down. No rush. No pressure. Just a quiet exhale. Letting go doesn't have to happen in a single day. And you don't have to do it alone. You can begin small. An evening without checking your phone. A no you've owed yourself for years. One soft permission. To not be perfect this time. And if there's only one thing you take from this video today, let it be this. You don't have to hold it all to be loved. You don't have to keep trying to be accepted. You deserve gentleness. Even if you're still learning how to believe that. Yellow heart, if this video brought you even a moment of peace, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Share something you're learning to let go of. Or simply a feeling you're sitting with right now. And if you ever need a quiet place to come back to, Heart of Calm will always be here. With you. One gentle step at a time.